I believe most of you that you are here today, they are what we call constitutional prescribers. Is that correct? Correct. And we call ourselves this name, but I found out that perhaps we have not a clear meaning of what that is, what that means. So we prescribe on a case, and usually what I have found out from experience is that we prescribe on two different kinds of prescribing. We do two different kinds of prescribing. The one is prescribing upon a layer, and the other is prescribing for the layer. What do we mean by that? You will have noticed in your practice that you have cases where you have been treating for years, 1, 2, 3, 5 years, perhaps more. Treating these people successfully, and they are faithful followers of homeopathy. And you say, I have been able to help these people, always. But there is a background symptomatology, which after all your prescribing, after all your careful prescribing, does not seem to change. What do I mean by that? I'll bring you an example. You have a case that comes for a lumbago, and you get the picture of calcarea phosphorica for that lumbago, and you prescribe it, and it does very well and takes away all the pain and the discomfort. And then the same man who is very enthusiastic because he took away the pains comes after 6 months or 9 months with a sciatica. And then you prescribe for his state Rastox, and he does very well. And then the same man, after 1 year, he comes with an arthritis of the right shoulder joint. And you prescribe for him some Wineria, and he's very happy to go away without pain. But as you take the case all the time, you notice that certain constitutional symptoms remain constant through your prescribing. What are these constitutional symptoms? First of all, there are some psychological, perhaps small, perhaps a little bit more disturbing psychological disturbances. The person has some kind of phobias, some fears, some anxiety. He has an irritability which is quite strong. He has some minor discomforts in the physical body. He is intolerant of cold. He's always thirsty for very cold water, etc. I mean, symptoms which are not very disturbing, but they form a background symptomatology which remains through your prescribing. After many years of observing such cases, what you come to the conclusion? You come to the conclusion that your patient has not really changed a level in health, in spite of the beneficial treatment that he has received from you. That kind of prescribing, I call it prescribing upon the layer. A person comes, I'll give you a more homeopathically accurate description. A person comes to you with the symptomatology of a grief. This person, if he had come before to you, and you would have taken his case, you would have seen a case of natrum muriaticum. He comes now during the grief. You take his symptomatology and you see the symptoms of Ignatia. And you give Ignatia. And he does well. His grief is relieved and he does well. But you do not go further and give the natrum muriaticum. And the person remains relieved, but on his layer, which was most probably natrum muriaticum, another picture, another layer has been imprinted has formed due to the grief. And that layer is now Ignatia. Is it correct to give Ignatia, or is it correct to give natrum muriaticum? This is the question that we have to face. Also, when you see the case of calcarea phosphorica, rastox, sanguinaria, where underneath is a constitution of sulfur, is it right to give calcarea phosphorica, etc., or it is more correct to give the sulfur, which is underneath? Well, the answer is that if the symptomatology was really Ignatia have to be given first and then natrum muriaticum. If the symptomatology was rastox, first rastox and then sulfur. If you go straight to sulfur, at the moment where there is an uppermost layer which is called Ignatia or rastox or calcarea phosphorica, if you go underneath, there is not going to be an effect, because that layer, the Ignatia layer, prevents your natrum muriaticum from acting. And this becomes really confusing, because you give natrum muriaticum, you see the constitutional symptoms of natrum muriaticum, you see some picture of Ignatia, ignore Ignatia, give natrum muriaticum, nothing happens. And then of course you go to Ignatia and there is a relief. And then you suppose that your natrum muriaticum is not doing anything good for that person. The truth is that natrum muriaticum is needed after Ignatia and is going to help him then, only then. You see how you may lose sight of a remedy which is underneath because you try it prematurely. And that happens, and this is the story, if we are prescribing correctly. But there is a possibility that, and that happens many times, that during treatment of a person, long-term treatment, what we do, we give a remedy in the beginning which is correct, which is the uppermost layer. Then comes for something else. We are in a hurry. We give something else which is very superficial and close but not exact. Therefore, we change a little bit the symptomatology without benefiting. The third time he comes, he has more problems, we give again a wrong remedy. Still little bit of changes, no effect. Then comes the fourth time, we may prescribe again the right remedy. But what is this right remedy that we prescribe the fourth time? Is the constitutional remedy? And that's the question. We are constitutional prescribers. The fourth remedy is the constitutional. And what are the parameters that will tell you that this, what I have given him, is the constitutional remedy? Who can give me these parameters? We have been talking about this subject before. And many of you have forgotten. The first criterion that we have given the constitutional remedy is that, of course, it has to cover the totality of the symptomatology. But is that enough? And what is the totality? Many times we do not know. Many times we are not able to ascertain what is the real totality. The second condition has to be, after we have chosen our remedy in the most comprehensive way, the first condition should be that as a consequence of prescribing that remedy, it has to come a profound change in health. I have seen cases, I have prescribed some cases for 4 to 5 years. And I have seen severe cases. They came to me with tuberculosis, which was active. And we started with tuberculinum and then calcarea carbonica and silica with deep remedies. The person is better, is satisfied. Yes, thanks to homeopathy, I'm so well. Yet, there is a picture which is in the background, and I cannot catch the picture. And after 5 or 6 or perhaps more years, I can't remember now how many years, that particular case I'm talking about, I have been treated. And there comes one day, and I grasp the whole symptomatology. And I say, oh my God, this is the constitutional remedy for that person. What is happening in that case is that certain of these remedies I have prescribed for the past 5 years, certain of these remedies were right and were layers that we took away until perhaps 1 or 2 of these remedies were right, or 3, but not all 10. These 3 remedies took away the upper layers and let the ground free now for the constitutional remedy. What was the constitutional remedy in that case? It was barita carbonica, where you have prescribed deep remedies, and it did do anything. I mean, you should see the change on the health of that person, the profound change that took place. And you know how they express it. They say, I feel another person. I feel I'm free. I had this, I had that, I had that. Now they realize what was the slavery that they were in. And that remedy now becomes the constitutional remedy, perhaps. Still, we need some more conditions. Another condition we need in order to define that this is a constitutional remedy for the patient is, I have found out, that during the relapses, after the constitutional remedy has been given, the relapse will take the shape of the same remedy. That means again barita carbonica. When they go into a relapse, usually they relapse into the same state. So therefore, what we notice with the constitutional remedy is that the person, whatever he has, when he relapses, always is natum muriaticum. Natrium muriaticum. And you take him through years of treatment, and the main remedy that helps this person is natrium muriaticum. Sometimes you go away from that remedy and you prescribe another one, no effect, until you manage through that prescribing to make him relapse. Which is a fact that we all know, we all have done. And then when he relapses really, again comes to natrium muriaticum. And then again we give natrium muriaticum and it's helped. Now why? You see, unless we know this theory and we understand this, we cannot withhold our impulse to prescribe for a person that comes and gives us some little kind of symptomatology. And every time prescribing for every little symptomatology usually brings about a relapse. But sometimes it may confuse a little bit the case. It's very important, I feel, and I have felt all through my experience with homeopathy. It's very important to know at every moment what are we doing. It is important that when we give a remedy, the person will come back and will say this and that. And we are able to translate that into our language, and I will say, wrong remedy, completely. Placebo effect. Closed remedy. The remedy was closed. Has just changed. Just be true with ourselves, you see. The symptomatology has been touched a little bit, but no real effect. And which is that case? When you have a headache on the right side, frontal headache on the right side, which is the main remedy? When the headache is on the right side, a very seldom indicated remedy. On the left side here, on the frontal, frontal headache on the left side is Fugia mostly. The right side is Prunus spinosa. But it doesn't matter this. When there is an extension of pain to the left occipital protuberance, then which is the remedy? Bryonia. When the headache is on the left side and takes all this side with a tendency to vomit, with nausea, is mostly sepia. So he comes on the right side, frontal headache, and you give Prunus because you know in it now. I've given you bad information to prescribe on a keynote. You give Prunus because you do not have any other symptom. Prunus. Then what you see, the effect, the headache goes away from here and after 2 days appears on another place. Then we know that this was the wrong remedy. I feel it's very important that at every moment we know what we have done with our patients. Another parameter which you have to take into consideration in order to say that the remedy that you have given was the constitutional remedy is that relapse of that patient is difficult. He will not relapse easily. I've heard cases where they say, we have given, the right remedy, and the person drank one coffee and he relapsed. This information means that your remedy was not a deep constitutional remedy, was prescribing upon a layer. A person who has received the constitutional remedy will take much stresses in order to relapse. He may be drinking coffee for a year. He may take in a series of antibiotics. He may take in a series of other remedies to relapse. There is a resistance now. There is a jump in the level of health which resists tremendously outside interferences. So when we see that, also don't leave that remedy then. You see, do not go away from that remedy, because the person will come and will tell you, my hairs are falling again. And hair was falling in the beginning. The hair is falling, but what about, how do you feel psychologically? Very well. Still everything remains on a good level. You are tempted, you see, my hair is a woman. My hair, especially if it is beta carbonica or silica. Especially when it's beta carbonica, because they are so much concerned with their appearances. Beta carbonica is tremendously concerned with the appearance. So my hair is falling down. And you are tempted to repeat. You are tempted to repeat because of falling of hair. This is wrong prescribing. Most probably you will not be doing anything, and it is not correct. You have to wait. Let the season, because there is the autumn season where there is more falling of the hair. So if it comes to the autumn, you see, wait, give sackcloth, this divine medicine, so the pharmacists will be kept happy. We have to keep the pharmacists happy. We have to make the pharmacists strong, because the pharmacist will go, okay, we'll kill you better, I mean, than teaching all this teaching, you know, because we are going to die in the way that you teach. So the pharmacist must stay alive. Why? How? Because you have to prescribe placebo. Placebo is a fantastic remedy. It's not, we are not depending on placebo effects, because we know what is a placebo effect. When somebody comes and says, I am better, what is better? No, I think my headache is not so strong. I say, yes, wait a moment. I suspect immediately, I mean, this kind of reaction, it means most probably the remedy has done nothing and your patient wants to please you. I think I'm a bit better, yes. So, I mean, this type of answer, I don't like to hear. I don't like, the person is very nice, he wants to be nice. But this is a placebo effect, you search for another remedy. Another point that you have to have in mind in prescribing the constitutional remedy is that sometimes there is deep tissue pathology which is not reversible, either because there is a mechanical obstruction or because the pathology is such that cannot be reversed. So, do not expect, you are giving your remedy, the patient is doing well, psychologically, energy level is better, everywhere is better with your patient, except of that particular pathology which says still is the same. For instance, cases, I think this happening in multiple sclerosis cases, where there is a damage on the nerves, there is a plaque which is formed and which is dead tissues that cannot be regenerated. What is happening in such a case is that only the edema which is around will be absorbed, and certain of the symptomatology of multiple sclerosis will go away, certain. Some of the symptomatology will remain. If you expect, you gave, and now what happens in actual practice? You gave that remedy. The person did quite well. His freed psychologically, his energy is better, as we said, he's walking better. But if that person is a 10-year patient of multiple sclerosis, for 10 years he's suffering with multiple sclerosis, do not expect that all his symptomatology will go away. There are damages that have been permanent now, and he's going to walk in this way that you see, that is walking with great difficulty. And that's all. Stop there. If you try to push this case by repeating the remedy, by changing the remedy, by giving different other remedies, trying, what you are going to attain at best will be a relapse, a total relapse. At the worst is to start again the process of inflammation and degeneration of the sheaths of the nerves, and then the continuation of the situation. So we have to have that this is a condition where we cannot push any further. Also, when a person is overweight and the muscles are quite lax, and he has come with hypertension, with God knows what, plus a pain on the back. You give your remedy, does beautifully, his blood pressure goes down, his psychological state better, everything is better, but that pain remains in the back. That pain, now you try another remedy. If you have given the constitutional remedy, do not try to push anymore, because it's not going to happen. What you have to wait for the muscles to build up and to strengthen, give exercises, give mechanical support, but do not try to push again with a repetition of the remedy, because this is going to rather damage your good prescribing. And of course we may, in certain cases, we may have to use surgery and remove the obstacle through surgery. Let us return again to the first example where we have prescribing upon a layer, and see why a person will not respond deeper to your treatment. What are the reasons? The first reason may be that this person's constitution is undermined so much from a hereditary point of view that he has not the possibility to proceed further. The organism in a such a state that has not the possibility to jump a level really, to have this tremendous volcanic kind of reaction that makes a person jump a level. He may not. His organism may have been undermined already quite a lot and not having that possibility. So never mind how carefully you may prescribe, the person will always remain in his life in the same level. There is no real change. What you are doing with this patient is that you are preventing him. These are cases that we are going to develop soon, a type of malignancy. Not necessarily cancer, I mean malignancy on a broader sense. A serious chronic condition. By your treatment, you keep up the best of this organism and you keep him in a tolerably good condition. So learn to explain the patient. Say, I've done my best. Do not expect perhaps more. Do not promise your patients. because you do not know what you are going to face when you have a case in front of you. You see a case and you say, oh, he looks so healthy. And you take the case and there is no symptomatology at all to guide you. That is a bad sign already. And then you said, as you go along with this case, on the process you see some serious condition developing. Do not promise ever your patient anything. In our center, where 30 medical doctors are working, they are not allowed to promise anything. When homeopathy is so difficult and so sensitive a tool that we are using, that we cannot be sure beforehand that the result will be there. Do not think, you see, oh, George is a master. There is no master for homeopathy. Never mind how much you study. I feel I have studied perhaps more than anybody in the world perhaps ever studied. And I feel a student still, and I don't know enough. And I never feel sure that this case is, the next case is coming, I'm going to help. It has been so that the results that we had in Athens were quite high, and we have the respect now of the whole of the medical profession. But that is because of the agony and of the attitude that we don't know enough. Now this is a new problem, and we have to face, and we have to find a solution. It's like playing chess. There is one best move, only one. The best move is only one. You have to find it every time. It's not repeatable. So the attitude is it's a very serious matter to have the right attitude. Well, I shall give you now some of the